Hey, I'm back to videotaping big balers here, and I just love to do this. This is a baler. Okay, I just recognize the ass end of it. This is the D1000. These came out in like 85 or 86, and these balers just bail. Now, the pickup on this baler is better than any pickup that New Holland has ever produced since for a big baler. This is the same pickup that is on the D2000, or the New Holland 2000 baler, that was a big piece of shit. The best part of it was obviously was the pickup, because I loved it. Never had any problems. I think I only ever replaced a couple of bands in it. And, and even this baler here doesn't look like it's done too much work, laborious work. But that's not what I'm going to talk about. What I'm going to talk about is the Heston baler, the Heston 2250 baler. That's what this is. It's a 2250. Let me get that thing right. Heston 2250. A lot of guys are saying, hey, you need to buy a Heston baler. Put that Krone baler right back where you got it from, because it's a piece of junk. Well, I can honestly say I wholeheartedly disagree with you on that choice of baler. I don't mind the Heston baler. I've never owned one. I've never run one. I know people that have run them, and they like them. And honestly, it was a good contender for what I was going to do. And, it was definitely going to be the toss-up between a Heston, a John Deere, and the Krone. Obviously, Claas doesn't have a big enough support here in the U.S., so I wasn't going to bother looking at that. But this is a 3x3. I'm used to the 3x4s, which is what I'm going to look at here. Now, this is, oh boy, see the color? And this is a used one. This is actually a Challenger baler, which is the same as the Heston baler. They're the Heston AGCO. Looks like this one's had a little bit of use onto it, and it's holding up pretty well. But again, the pickup, this has been painted over. You can see all the stone chips and stuff. This thing has seen some service. And these are good balers. Yes, the Heston and the Challenger are the same. They're the same baler. They're very different from the New Holland. And here's another. This is LB34B. This is LB34B XD, extreme density, which means that it will pack a tighter bale than the previous models. And here's a New Holland 590, which they say these were good balers, but I never owned one. I had a 960, and this has the good bands on it. And of course the 8575. Now here is the New Holland, or Case New Holland, which is very similar to the. Is this a 3x? It's a 3x3. Yeah. This is a New Holland like the BB 90 or 8090 or 9080, 9060, I think is what that model would have been. But this is a 333, and it's very similar to what I had run before. Inherently, or not inherently, but traditionally, the New Holland 3x3 was always better than the 3x4. I don't know why, it just was. And, well, I do know why. It is more compact, more hay volume going through it faster. Or, a little less hay volume going through it faster. And they never had the problems that I had with mine with the 3x3. At least nobody I know had those problems. Again, these Case, what is that? That's a 8570 3x3. This is an 8575, so this is the older, that's the newer one. And they really don't do too much to them to change them between the numbers. They just beef it up here and there and things like that, just to make it, a little more appealing to the newer machines, or to the new buyer. So they change the paint a little bit, they do. I mean, I don't know. Those are gray with red, or those are red on red. These are gray on red. And of course, these are the XD models. I believe this is an XD model. It's got the longer bale chamber. I don't know. I had one guy tell me that I should get rid of the Krone and go ahead and buy a Heston, Massey Ferguson Heston. And I just can't see it. This is built not nearly as heavy as what the Krone is. I like the Krone. The flywheels in these are really small, and yeah, I don't know. They're just a very different class of baler. And I'm out here at Zimmerman's, by the way. I just had to buy tires for the 8120 because I get my tires out here from time to time for pretty good pricing. Not always, but sometimes. So anyway, yeah, I'm half out of breath here talking in the sun. It's hot as hell out there for September. But yeah, I thought they had a New Holland baler out here that was a little more modern than that 333. But anyway, yeah, the Krone baler's in a class all its own. I really wholeheartedly believe that I did not make a bad choice when I purchased the Krone. Now, I was watching George Saunders' channel this morning. I had made a comment, you know, it's like, oh, well, what baler do you think is still baling, you know, the Krone or the Heston? And I made a comment about it's probably the Heston because the Krone is done and went home for the day. Well, boy, was I wrong. They're having problems with their Krone. They have a different Krone baler than I have. I think theirs is a couple of years old. It is the 4x4 baler, but apparently they're having problems with the knotters. The actual arm that runs the needles. The arm that comes off the knotters, it goes to the needles to cycle the needles. And they're having problems with that. I guess it's just breaking the welds. So it's a totally different baler than what I have. I have a 3x4. Now, a lot of times, and I know this through the New Holland and that's what I was talking about, the 3x3 being a better New Holland baler than the 3x4. Because what these companies do is they take a 3x3 baler that they use and it works really well in their test trials, and then they just build a 3x4 baler with the same components that were on the 3x3 baler, never compensating for the extra material that's going through the baler, for one, and for two, the extra shit. The extra weight of the yoke, the needle yoke. I have to figure out who that is. I'm waiting on a call, and that's who I'm looking for. So